Hey y'all, good evening. I'm your friend Donnie. I'd like to invite you to join me for a pipe and a pour. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited because in 2 days' time, many of us will be gathered down the road in Columbia, Tennessee at the Muletown show at Briarworks. And if you've spent any time with me over the last year, you know that it was at the Muletown show last year that I received some encouragement to come out of the shadows and start to present and have a place for me to gather and share my thoughts on any manner of things. It happens to be some of my favorite things: pipes and pours and fellowship. One of the things I've not had much of a chance to do is share with you guys much about the intellectual side, the reading, the thoughts that I, the things I ruminate and think on. But before we get into all that, tonight's pipe, let's see, go in there and get what you can if you can. This is new to the, I don't think I've introduced this one to you guys before. This is a Butz-Choquin, as my estate collection of Butz-Choquins continues to grow. The Capitaine 70. It's, I don't know how to describe the shape. It's not really Lavat because it is an oval shank that's fairly thin and flat, and I just kind of love it. And it's got some really nice grain on it. Some nice bird's eye. I don't know if you can get in here on this again. I don't know if that works. Anyway, it's a beautiful pipe, and this is my first smoke in it. Cleaned it up a little bit more once I got it, just because I'm that way. And upon doing so, discovered I got a little bit of oxidation up here that I've tried to clean up on my own, but I am not a pipe restorer by any stretch of the imagination. I've never done it before. I just kind of clean my own. I don't really know how to take care of that oxidation, so I'll see if I can figure that out and talk to a couple of you guys about it. Anyway, I do not want to bore you with those details because those do not matter to you. As I continue on my journey with English blends here through the end of March, which is going to prove difficult this weekend at the Muletown show, because should I get the opportunity to try something new and special and fantastic or that I've never had that's not an English blend, what to do? I think we all know what's going to happen. I'm going to smoke some things that are not English blends this weekend, and that is okay, isn't it? But I'm looking forward to it. All you guys that are going to be down there, they're coming into town. I can't wait to meet you guys. If you guys are in town and you're getting together, I plan on being down there Friday night for the pre-show fellowship get-together, and then I'll be there most of the day on Saturday. Mrs. Pipe and a Pour will be coming down separately. And Asker's like, well, you don't have to. She came with me last year, and she told me after the fact that it was just sort of to support me so that I felt more comfortable going in there and getting to meet some people and that sort of thing. But I said, you don't have to go with me this year. I know some folks now. And she's like, I just want to go and support you. And she's like, and it actually was very interesting, and you care about it, so I care about it. And I was like, wow, she's the best. So Mrs. Pipe and a Pour will be there for a little bit. And I was like, hey, if you're going to go hang out with a bunch of middle-aged, tubby, bearded, bald guys that smoke tobacco, apparently that's her thing. I don't know. Hey, it'll be fun, but we're looking forward to it. So I look forward to meeting a bunch of you guys there. All that. Good. Great. See you on Friday. Tonight's tobacco. So I have, since we talked last, I have tried for probably a week to get out here and do another video, and honestly, it's just been wild. Life happens, and it's good. But I have had a few moments here and there to kind of sit down and sneak a pipe in, whether it's a break between meetings or after work in the afternoon, or once everybody kind of settles down in the house for the evening. And I will come back at a later time and do a more in-depth, thorough review, or just give you my thoughts on some of the ones that I've tried here in the last 2 weeks since we last spoke. But that includes the Northwest Trek from the Country Squire, an English aromatic, and honestly, it's truly a luxury blend in my book. Again, Country Squire, synonymous with fantastic blends, and so that was very good. Enjoyed it a lot. And then I tried Persian Slipper from Watch City Cigar. That one surprised me. And again, I'll go into greater detail when I kind of do a more in-depth video on those. But still, both very good, but vastly different. And so if you've been following along very closely, you've noticed that I've had some really great English blends the last 2 months. But here, the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, most of them have been fairly light, or sort of that American English type of blend, or the crossover English blend, or the English aromatic for the Northwest Trek. Earlier tonight, when I was contemplating, okay, what are we going to smoke tonight? We're going to go sit down and we're going to smoke a pipe and relax for a little bit. And out of the things that I had not tried yet, I kept picking this 110 up. I kept picking it up, and I was like, I want to try that soon. So tonight I picked it up. From old Sam Gawith, Squadron Leader. Again, I looked at it, I'd researched it previously, but I didn't go into depth tonight before grabbing a 10. Those of you who have tried it, and I know many of you have, you know my comments about the light English blends a moment ago, where they're going. Because this, my friends, while I really was kind of looking for that robust, tongue punch kind of Latakia English, this ain't it. But what it is really, really freaking good. I was surprised when I opened the 10. I've not had Squadron Leader before, so this is my first go with it. When I opened the 10 and the aroma hit me, the nose hit me, and I was like, that's much more oriental forward with the floral incense type of aromas. And then I opened it up and saw that light color in there, and I was like, that is a lot of light Virginia in there. Latakia, of course, is a key component. I ain't found it yet, and I'm not mad about it either. So I took some initial notes on it while I was sitting here smoking the first half of the bowl down. As I mentioned, sort of I think the Orientals are the star, right? There's a lot more of the floral essence to it. For the first time, I've heard people talk about the having a vegetal type of quality to an aroma or taste. And I think with Squadron Leader, I found it for the first time. There's a lot of that herbal sweetness and vegetal that I really got out of it. And while it sounds weird to say as being a good flavor or a good aroma, once you experience it, it's like, oh, I get it. That's great. So another big recommendation for me is if you have not tried Squadron Leader from Sam Gawith, I recommend that you do so. Let me see, what do I have here? Oh, yeah. There's a fantastic aftertaste and a finish to it. It's fairly light. It's a light, dry smoke, which I enjoy. And I didn't dry it out very good, so I've had a hard time keeping it lit, and that's why I just put it down for this exercise here, so we could chat quickly. And I am talking fast because I do want to cover something else. Yeah. So yeah, and I've already covered that. It's not a deep, smoky, thick, rich, hearty English blend. It is very much a light to medium blend, that is more floral and herbal in its quality. So very good. Now, almost forgot. Tonight's pour. Wet the whistle here. One of my favorites. We've talked about it before. I continue to recommend it to people every chance I get. Come on, there you go. The Uncle Nearest, 1856, 100 proof. This is distilled here in Tennessee. It's not distilled by the Nearest Green distillery in Shelbyville, but it is distilled and aged here. I have some suspicions as to where it is distilled, and if you're coming down to the Muletown show, you won't be too far from a distillery in Columbia, Tennessee, that is doing a lot of sourcing and distilling for folks, and I think that's where some of this came from. And if you're coming down to the Muletown show in Columbia this weekend, there'll probably be a bottle of this with me, so look me up, and we will share a pipe and a pour. So there's the essentials: the pipe, the pour, the tobacco blend in there. And I'm trying so hard to keep this short tonight, so you know what I'm going to do? I am going to keep it short tonight. I'm going to stop right here, and I will just give you sort of a teaser for next go-around. One of the things I set out to do, because we're trying to encourage our daughter to read more, and she's having to read more. In 5th grade, she's got a lot of reading requirements for school stuff. And I used to love to read. Here the last couple of years, I've had a hard time kind of up and down, whether it's of interest or lack of focus or whatever the case may be. So I don't really do New Year's resolutions, but one of the things I decided to do is I was going to read a book per month. January, I read and finished The Hound of the Baskervilles, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, because it's one of my old-time favorites. And I was like, let me just, something I'm familiar with to get me going. Maddie and I, my daughter, had actually started reading it together back at Halloween last year because she wanted a spooky story. And what's spookier than a devil dog, roaming the English countryside. But I started over in January, finished it then. In February, I finished reading this book. It's called Resilient by John Eldredge, Restoring Your Weary Soul in These Turbulent Times. I want to talk about that, a couple of key points that I pulled out of there that I think you guys might find interesting. And they were very helpful to me. The whole book is about how do we deal with all that we have been through as a people, not just a nation, but as a people on the globe, the last 3-4 years. How do we come out of that experience? How often do we find ourselves hoping and looking and wishing that things would be good again? What does it look like? What does it mean? How do we get there? So it is not political in nature. I will tell you that because I don't want to hear that nonsense. Nope, not having it. It is about healing your soul, healing your heart. And so there's some things I want to share there. And I also want to talk to you about the books that are coming up next for me for March and April that I've already started. So with all that said, thank you for joining me tonight for a pipe and a pour. Again, if you have not tried Squadron Leader, I recommend it. If you are in the mood to imbibe on some really solid, good whiskey, the Uncle Nearest 1856 is my favorite of their line. I love it, and I suggest that if you're looking for something different. Again, if you'll be at the Muletown show, let me know, and we'll definitely hook up. Looking forward to meet you guys, so many of you guys there, and we'll share a pipe and a pour together as we can. But until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, y'all.